Right, welcome to the Friday meeting of the Better Living Group. My name is Akash and I'm eager to live a better life. Currently we are reading from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and the page number is 150 in soft copy, 187 in the hard copy, and the subject is the mismatch between immediate and delayed rewards. Imagine, before I proceed, let's go group preamble. The primary purpose of the Better Living Group is to carry its message to a person who is eager to live a better life. We alter our life with balanced living. There are no dues or fees for the membership. Guiding principles I'm gonna skip and right away come to the reading part. Yeah. The mismatch between immediate and delayed rewards. Imagine you are an animal and roaming in the plains of Africa, a giraffe or an elephant or a lion. On any day, most of your decisions have an immediate impact. You are always thinking about what to eat, where to sleep, and how to avoid a predator. You are constantly focused on the present or the very near future. You live in the scientists what call as immediate written environment because your actions instantly deliver clear and immediate outcomes. Now switch back to your human self. In modern society, many of you choices that you make today will not benefit you immediately. When you do a good job at work, you will get a paycheck in few weeks. When you exercise today, perhaps you won't be overweight next year. When you save money now, you will have enough for the retirement decades from now. You live in what scientists call as delayed return environment because you can work for years before your action delivers the intended payoff. The human brain did not evolve for life in a delayed return environment. The earliest remains of a modern human, known as Homo sapiens, are approximately 200,000 years old. They were the first humans to have brains relatively smaller, similar to ours. In particular, the neocortex, the newest part of the brain and the region responsible for the higher function, like language, was roughly the same size 200,000 years ago as of today. You're walking around the same hardware as your Paleolithic ancestors. It is only during the last 500 years or so that the society has shifted to a predominantly delayed return environment. Compared to the age of the brain, modern society is brand new. In the last 100 years, we have seen the rise of the car, airplane, television, computer, internet, smartphone, and beyond it. The world has changed much in the recent years. However, human nature has changed a little. Similar to the other animals on the African savanna, our ancestors spent their days responding to grave threats, securing the next meal, and taking shelter from a storm. It made sense to place a high value on instant gratification. The distant future was less of a concern. And after thousands of generations in an immediate return environment, our brain evolved to prefer quick payoffs to long-term ones. Behavioral economists refer to this tendency as a time inconsistency. That is, the way your brain evaluates reward is inconsistent across time. You value the present more than the future. Usually, this tendency serves us well. A reward that is certain right now is typically worth more than one that is merely possible in the future. But occasionally, our bias towards instant gratification causes challenges. Why should someone smoke when they know it increases the risk of lung cancer? Why would someone overtreat when they know that increases the risk of obesity? Why would someone have unsafe sex when they know it can result in sexually transmitted disease? Once you understand how the brain prioritizes rewards, The answers become clear. The consequences of the bad habits are delayed while the rewards are immediate. Smoking might kill you in 10 years. However, it reduces stress and eases your nicotine cravings now. Overeating is harmful in the long run, however, appetizing in the moment. Sex, safe or not, provides pleasure right away. Disease and infection won't show up for days or weeks, even years. Every habit produces multiple outcomes across time. Unfortunately, these outcomes are often misaligned. With our bad habits, the immediate outcome usually feels good. However, the ultimate outcome feels bad. With good habits, it's reverse. The immediate outcome is unenjoyable. The ultimate outcome feels good. The French economist Frederick Bastiat explained the challenge clearly when he wrote, it almost always happens that when the immediate consequences is favorable, the later consequences are disastrous and vice versa. Often, the sweeter the first fruit of a habit, the more bitter are its later fruits. Put another way, the cost of your good habits are in the present. The cost of your bad habits are in the future. The brain's tendency to prioritize the present moment means you can't rely on good intentions. When you make a plan to lose weight, write a book, learn a language, you are actually making a plan for your future self. And when you envision what is you want your life to be like, it is easy to see the value in taking actions with long-term benefits. We all want better lives for our future selves. However, when the moment of decision arrives, instant gratification usually wins. You're no longer making a choice for the future you, who dream of being fuller and wealthier or happier. You are choosing the present you who wants to be full, pampered, and entertained. As a general rule, the more immediate pleasure you get from an action, the more strongly you should question whether it aligns you with your long term goal. With a fuller understanding of what causes our brain to repeat some behavior and avoid others, let's update the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. Our preference for instant gratification reveals an important truth about success. Because how we are wired, most people will spend all day chasing quick hits of satisfaction. The road less traveled is the road of delayed gratification. When you are willing to wait for the rewards, you will face less competition and often get bigger payoff. As the saying goes, the little smile is always the least crowded. The last mile is always the least crowded. This is precisely what researchers have shown. People who are better at delaying gratification have higher SAT scores, lower levels of substance abuse, lower likelihood of obesity, better response to stress, and superior social skills. We have all seen this play out in our own lives. When you delay watching television and get your homework done, you will generally learn more and get better grades. When you don't buy desserts and chips at the store, you will often eat healthier when you get home. At some point, success is in nearly every field requires you to ignore an immediate reward in favor of delayed reward. Here is the challenge. Most people know that delaying gratification is the wise approach. They want the benefit of good habits, to be healthy, productive, at peace. However, these outcomes are seldom top of the mind at the decisive moment. Thankfully, it is possible to train yourself to delay gratification. However, you need to work with the grain of human nature, not against it. The best way to do this is to add a little bit of an immediate pleasure to the habit that pays off in the long run, and a little bit of immediate pain, the one that don't. How to turn instant gratification to your advantage. The vital thing in getting a habit stick is to feel successful, even it's in a small way. The feeling of a success is a signal that your habit paid off and that the work was worth the effort. In a perfect world, the reward for a good habit is a habit itself. In the real world, good habits tend to feel worthwhile only after they have provided you with something. Early on, it's all sacrifice. You've gone to the gym a few times. However, you are not stronger or fairer or faster, at least not in any noticeable sense. It's only months later, once you shed a few pounds or your abs gain some definition, that it becomes easier to exercise for its own sake. In the beginning, you need a reason to stay on track. This is why immediate rewards are essential. They keep you excited while the delayed rewards accumulate in the backgrounds. What we are really talking about here, when we are discussing immediate rewards in the end of the behavior, the ending of any experience is vital because we tend to remember it more than other phases. You want the ending of your habit to be satisfying? The best approach is to use reinforcement, which refers to the process of using an immediate reward to increase the rate of behavior. Habit stacking, which is covered in chapter 5, ties you to the habit to an immediate cue, which makes it obvious when to start. Reinforcement ties your habits to an immediate reward, which makes it satisfying when you finish. Immediate reinforcement can be especially helpful when dealing with habits of avoidance, which are behaviors you want to stop doing. It can be challenging to stick with the habits like no frivolous purchases or no alcohol this month, because nothing happens when you skip happy hours drink or don't buy that pair of shoes. It can be hard to feel satisfied when there is no action in the first place. All you are doing is resisting the temptation, and there isn't much satisfying about that. One solution is to turn the situation on its head. You want to take avoidance visible. Open a savings account and label it for something you maybe call a leather jacket. Whenever you pass on a purchase, put some amount of money in that account. Skip your morning latte, transfer $5. Pass on another month of Netflix, move $10 over. It's like creating a loyalty program for yourself. The immediate reward of seeing yourself save money towards a leather jacket feels a lot better than deprived. You are making it satisfying to do nothing. One of my readers and his housewife used a similar setup. They wanted to stop eating out so much and started cooking together more. They labeled their saving account trip to Europe. Whenever they skipped going out to eat, they transferred 50 always in their account. At the end of year, they put the money towards the vacation. It is worth noting that it is important to select short-term rewards that reinforces your identity rather than ones that conflicts with it. Buying a new jacket is fine when you're trying to lose weight or read more books. However, it does not work when you're trying to budget and save money. Instead, taking a bubble bath or going on a leisurely walk are good examples of rewarding yourself with the free time, which aligns you with your ultimate goal of more freedom and financial independence. Similarly, when your reward for exercising is eating a bowl of ice cream, then you're casting vote for the conflicting identities, and it Adam being a wash. Instead, maybe reward it with a massage, which is both luxury and a vote towards taking care of your body. Now, the short term reward is aligned with your shell's long term vision of being a healthy person. Eventually, and as intrinsic rewards like better mood, more energy, and reduced stress kick in, you'll become less concerned with chasing the secondary reward. The identity itself becomes a reinforcer. You do it because it's who you are and it feels good to be you. The more a habit becomes the part of your life, less you need an outside encouragement to follow through. Incentives can start a habit, identity sustains the habit. That said, it takes time for the evidence to accumulate and a new identity to emerge. Immediate reinforcements help maintain motivation in the short term while you are waiting for the long term rewards to arrive. In summary, a habit needs to be enjoyable for it to last. Simple bits of reinforcements, like the small soap that smells great, or the toothpaste that has a refreshing mint flavor, or seeing a $50 hit your account, can offer the immediate pleasure you need to enjoy a habit, and that change is easy when it is enjoyable. Chapter summary: the fourth law of the behavior change, which is to make it satisfying. We are more likely to repeat the behavior when the experience is satisfying. The human brain evolved to prioritize immediate rewards over delayed rewards. The cardinal rule of behavior change: what is immediately rewarded is repeated, what is immediately punished is avoided. To get a habit to stick, you need to feel immediately successful, even if it's in a small way. The first three laws of behavior change: make it obvious, make it attractive, and make it easy, increases the odds that a behavior will perform this time. The fourth law of behavior change: make it satisfying, increase the odds that a behavior will be repeated next time. That concludes the chapter 15. Would anyone like to take it ahead?
Yes, I'll start from here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Akash. How to stick with good habits every day. In 1993, a bank in Abbotsford, Canada, hired a 23-year-old stockbroker named Trent Smith. Abbotsford was a relatively small suburb tucked away in the shadow of nearby Vancouver, where most of the big business deals were being made. Given the location and the fact that Smith was a rookie, nobody expected too much of him. But he made brisk progress thanks to simple daily habits. Dismith began each morning with two jars on his desk. One was filled with 120 paper clips, the other was empty. As soon as he settled in each day, he would make a sales call. Immediately after, he would move one paper clip from the full jar to the empty jar and process would begin again. Every morning, I would start with 120 paper clips in one jar and I would keep dialing the phone until I had moved them all to the second jar, he told me. Within 18 months, Smith was bringing in $5 million to the firm. By age 24, he was making $75,000 per year, the equivalent of $125,000 today. Not long after, he landed a six-figure job with another company. I like to refer this technique as a paperclip strategy, and over the years, I have heard from readers who have employed it in a variety of ways. One woman shifted a hairpin to another whenever she wrote a page of her book. Another man moved a marble from one bin to the next after each set of push ups. Making progress is satisfying, and visual measures like moving paper clips or hairpins or marbles provide clear evidence of your progress. Result, they reinforce your behavior and add a little bit of immediate satisfaction to any activity. Visual measurement comes in many forms: food journals, workout logs, loyalty punch cards, the progress bar on the software download, even the page numbers in the book. But perhaps the best way to measure your progress is with the habit tracker. How to keep your habits on track? A habit tracker is simple way to measure whether you did a habit. The most basic format is to get calendar and cross off each day you stick with your routine. For example, if you meditate on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, each of those dates gets an X. As time rolls by, the calendar becomes a record of your habit streak. Countless people have tracked their habits, but perhaps the most famous was Benjamin Franklin. Beginning at age 20, Franklin carried a small booklet everywhere he went and used it to track 13 personal virtues. This list included goals like lose no time, be always employed in something useful. and avoid trifling conversation. At the end of each day, Franklin would open his booklet and record his progress. Jerry Sinfield reportedly uses a habit tracker to stick with his streak of writing jokes. In a documentary Comedian, he explains that his goal is simply to never break the chain of writing jokes every day. In other words, he's not focused on how good or bad particular joke is or how inspired he feels. He simply is focused on showing up and adding to his streak. Don't break the chain is a powerful mantra. Don't break the chain of sales calls and you'll build a successful book of business. Don't break the chain of workout and you'll get fit faster than you would expect. Don't break the chain of creating every day. You'll end up with an impressive portfolio. Habit tracking is powerful because it leverages multiple laws of behavior change. It simultaneously makes a behavior obvious, attractive, and satisfying. Let's break down each one. Benefit number one, habit tracking is obvious. Recording your last action creates a trigger that you can initiate your next one. Habit tracking naturally builds a series of visual cues like the streak of X's on your calendar or the list of meals in your food log. When you look at the calendar and see your streak, you'll be reminded to act again. Research has shown that people who track their progress on goals like losing weight, quitting smoking, and lowering blood pressure are all more likely to improve than those who don't. One study of more than 1,600 people found that those who kept a daily food log lost twice as much weight as those who did not. The mere act of tracking a behavior can spark the urge to change it. Habit tracking also keeps you honest. Most of us have a distorted view of our own behavior. We think we act better than we do. Measurement offers one way to overcome our blindness to our own behavior and notice what's really going on each day. One glance at the paper clips in the container, you immediately know how much work you have or have not been putting in. When the evidence is right in front of you, you are less likely to lie to yourself. Habit tracking is attractive. Benefit number two. The most effective form of motivation is progress. When we get a signal that we are moving forward, we become more motivated to continue down the path. In this way, habit tracking can have an addictive effect on motivation. Each small win feeds your desire. This can be particularly powerful on a bad day. When you are feeling down, it's easy to forget about all the progress you have already made. Habit tracking provides visual proof of your hard work, a subtle reminder of how far you have come. Plus, the empty square you see each morning can motivate you to get started because you don't want to lose your progress by breaking the streak. Benefit number three, habit tracking is satisfying. This is the most crucial benefit of all. Tracking can become its own form of reward. It is satisfying to cross an item off your to do list, to complete an entry in your workout log, or mark an X on your calendar. It feels good to watch your results grow. The size of your investment portfolio, the length of your book manuscript, and if it feels good, then you are more likely to endure. Habit tracking also helps keep your eye on the ball. You are focused on the process rather than the result. You are not fixated on getting six pack abs. You are just trying to keep the streak alive and become the type of person who does not miss workouts. In summary, habit tracking creates a visual cue that can remind you to act. So is inherently motivating because you see the progress you are making and don't want to lose it. And three, that feels satisfying whenever you record another successful instance of your habit. Furthermore, a habit tracking provides visual proof that you are casting vote for the type of person you wish to become, and which is delightful form of immediate and intrinsic gratification. You may be wondering, if habit tracking is so useful, why have I waited so long to talk about it? Despite all the benefits, if I have left this discussion until now for a simple reason. Many people resist the idea of tracking and measuring. It can feel like a burden because it forces you to two habits: the habit you are trying to build and the habit of tracking it. Counting calories sounds like a hassle when you are already struggling to follow a diet. Writing down every sales call seems tedious when you have got work to do. It feels easier to say it, I'll just eat less, or I will just try harder, or I will remember to do it. People inevitably tell me things like, I have a decision journal, but I wish I used it more. Or I recorded my workouts for a week and then quit. I have been there myself. I once made a food log to track my calories. I managed to do it for one meal and then gave up. Tracking is not for everyone, and there is no need to measure your entire life. But nearly anyone can benefit from it in some form, even if it is only temporary. What can we do to make tracking easier? First, whenever possible, measurement should be automated. You'll probably be surprised by how much you are already tracking without knowing it. Your credit card statements tracks how often you go out to eat. Your Fitbit registers how many steps you take and how long you sleep. Your calendar records how many new places you travel to each year. Once you know where to get data, add a note to your calendar to review it each week or each month, which is more practical than tracking it every day. Second, manual tracking should be limited to your most important habits. It is better to consistently track one habit than to sporadically track 10. Finally, record each measurement immediately after the habit occurs. The completion of the behavior is the cue to write it down. This approach allows you to combine the habit stacking method mentioned in chapter 5 with habit tracking. The habit stacking plus habit tracking formula is: after current habit, I will track my habit. After I hang up my phone from the sales call, I will move one paper clip over. After I finish each set of the at the gym, I will record it in my workout journal. After I put my dish plate in the dishwasher, I will write down what I ate. These tactics can make tracking your habit easier. Even if you are not the type of person who enjoys recording your behavior, I think you will find a few weeks of measurement to be insightful. It is always interesting to see how you have actually been spending your time. That said, every habit streak ends at some point, and more important than any single measurement is a good having good plan when your habits slide off track. How to recover quickly when your habits break down. No matter how consistent you are with your habits, it is inevitable that life will interrupt you at some point. Perfection is not possible. Before long, an emergency will pop up and you'll get sick, or you have to travel for work, or your family needs a little more of your time. Whenever this happens to me, I'll try to remind myself of a simple rule: never miss twice. Wow, beautiful. If I miss one day, I try to get back into it as quickly as possible. Missing one workout happens, but I'm not going to miss two in a row. Maybe I'll eat an entire pizza, but I will follow it up with a healthy meal. I can't be perfect, but I can avoid a second lapse. As soon as one streak ends, I get started on the next one. The first mistake is never the one that ruins you. It is the spiral of repeated mistakes that follows. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. This is a distinguishing feature between winners and losers. Anyone can have a bad performance, a bad workout, or a bad day at work. But when successful people fail, they rebound quickly. The breaking of a habit does not matter if the reclaiming of it's fast. I think this principle is so important that I will stick to it even if I cannot do a habit or as well or as completely as I would like. Too often we fall into all or nothing cycle with our habits. The problem is not slipping up. The problem is thinking that if you can't do something perfectly, then you should not do it at all. You don't realize how vulnerable it is to just show up on your bad or busy days. Lost days hurt you more than successful days help you. If you start with $100, then a 50% gain will take you to $150. But you only need a 33% loss to take you back to $100. In other words, avoiding 33% loss is just as valuable as achieving a 50% gain. As Charlie Munger says, the first rule of compounding: never interrupt it unnecessarily. This is why the bad workouts are often the most important ones. Sluggish day and bad workouts contain the compound gains you accrued from the previous good days. Simply doing something 10 squats, 5 sprints, a push up, anything really is huge. Don't put up a zero. Don't let losers eat into your compounding. Furthermore, it is always about what happens during the workout. It is about being the type of person who does not miss workout. It is easy to train when you feel good, but it is crucial to show up when you don't feel like it. Even if you do less than you hope, going to the gym for 5 minutes may not improve your performance, but it reaffirms your identity. The all or nothing cycle of behavior change is just one pitfall that can derail your habits. Another potential danger, especially if you are using a habit tracker, is measuring the wrong things. Now, here I would like to stop and pass. Thank you.
Thanks, Amrish. I'll take it from here. It was a good read. Or check it out. Just a moment. Right, we are about on almost on the conclusion, so I'll take it briefly. Knowing when to track a habit. So I'm gonna come down on the last three paragraphs. All this to say, all this is to say, it's crucial to keep habit tracking in its proper place. It can feel satisfying to record a habit and track your progress. However, the measurement is not only the things that matter. Furthermore, there are many ways to measure a progress, and sometimes it helps to shift your focus to something entirely different. This is why non scale victories can be effective for weight loss. The number on the scale may be stubborn. So, Amrish, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Akash. The volume was pretty low, though.
Are there any background noises? Am I audible properly?
Yes, there are background noises, but you are audible.
All right. I'm just interested to know the amount of background voices. Is it better or
It's fine. It's
loud?
fine. It's
It's
totally fine.
it's totally okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. This session being recorded. So, this is why the known scale victories can be effective for the weight loss. The number of scale may be stubborn. So when you focus solely on the number, your motivation will sag. However, you may notice that your skin looks paler, or you wake up earlier, or your sex drive got a boost. All of these are the valid ways of tracking your improvement. When you're not feeling motivated by the number of the scale, perhaps it's time to focus on a different measurement, one that gives you more signal of progress. No matter how measure your improvement, habit tracking offers a simple way to make your habits more satisfying. Each measurement provides a little bit of the evidence that you are moving in the right direction, and a brief moment of immediate pleasure for a job well done. Chapter summary. One of the best satisfying feeling is that feeling of making progress. A habit tracker is a simple way to measure whether you did a habit, like marking an X on a calendar. Habit trackers and other form of visual measurement can make your habit satisfying by providing clear evidence of your progress. Don't break the chain. Try to keep your habit streak alive. Never miss twice. When you miss one day, try to get back on the track as quickly as possible. Just because you can measure something does not mean isn't an important thing. That concludes our reading today, and we are open for shares.
Thanks, Akash. Okay, so I'll start. I totally can relate about this tracking your habits. I have tried with this with my habit of meditation. When I was not very habitual, I used an app to meditate and track as well how much I'm meditating or how long I'm meditating, per se, the streak. And This gives a sense of success or a sense of reward, that okay, for the past 27 days I have been doing it continuously without any break, and this is good. But then the author very beautifully explains how one gap from the streak can create another gap, and it can be a spiral of gaps which can affect this habit building. And I have experienced this. Whenever my streak fails and I'm trying to create get it back, but then due to some reasons or others, it just not happen at all. It then in the second time it needs more effort after your streak is being done, because when you are in streak you are able to do it very smoothly. But when the streak breaks, you have to put a lot of efforts. I'll say double the efforts that you were putting up initially to start the streak back again. And I tried tracking on the food calories, and it was just a one day time. It was I used this app, some food chef or something. It was an app where you click the picture of the food that you are eating and track the calories you are doing. But it was a tedious task because I had a lot of work to do even after eating healthy. So it broke off. It broke off actually. And the experience with the Fitbit, or you can say I had my activity tracker, which I used to track how many steps I was taking, how many calories I was burning, and how many hours of sleep I was taking. And I didn't have to do anything. I just had to wear that activity tracker, and I was able to track. So I didn't have to do anything. So I experienced this. So whatever we are using to track our habits, or using it to track our streaks, it should be automated. It should not be too mechanical, that you are taking too much efforts to put up those streak points or listed it somewhere. And this calendar striking is the one of the best example, I'll say. Use a calendar and just strike off with an axe whenever you are using, or you can use an app for tracking the streaks or your habits, how it is going. That is it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Amrish. Grateful to be here. Really awesome. Thanks for the wonderful shares and the wonderful reading, like always. And I'm grateful that I'm doing this journey of awesomeness with you, and we are growing. And I am filled with so much gratitude when I'm opening my. I've specifically I started writing my habits when we started reading this book, and it has become. I've had three sprint of 21 days of so many habits that I would just quite quickly share. I have like 17 check boxes to check every day. And what I'll start doing is the 80% of those habits have already become automatic. They've become part of somewhat me. Today we didn't realize that I'm doing too much. I'm spending a lot of time, about 1 hour in habit journaling. I think it was needed for me in the initial part. So a lot of is stretch is related to prayers and meditations and meditation, a lot of habit stacking and coupling up with the things which I'm already doing. So and this keeps getting bigger. I'm doing more 5 minutes things consistently than 1 hour sporadic things, and that is the improvement. That is the real improvement I see. Some things which I do occasionally in probably an hour basis is not even effective. It's just an entertainment. Some things which I've been doing for 5 minutes for last 10 years is something that's gonna make me significant, and by God I am going to be the awesomest. The bigger, the better, and the brighter fittest, fastest, and firstest guy in the whole universe. Yeah, and I'm grateful that I have journal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a format of check boxes for every day now, which I used to do earlier. This will make it very simple for me. The very important thing I would like to point today is in the whole book, nothing spiritual has been be very technical and scientific. And I was checking how many times the author has used the word God or spiritual. God is none, spiritual is none. So God is mentioned twice in a context of oh my God, oh my God. So in a way, he is spiritual, not much, because in case he would have certainly mentioned the importance of gratitude, because gratitude is the ultimate form of habit tracking. Whenever I express my gratitude, thank you, Lord, for saving me from bad food. Thank you, Lord, for saving me from nicotine. Thank you, Lord, for saving me alcohol. That means I'm ticking a mark on the checkbox, and I am so the law of universe says wherever I take my focus, the energy flows. And when I'm taking my focus on the things which I'm grateful for, which I'm already doing, I immediately start adding that habit to myself. So the hack here is I can start expressing gratitude for the things I really don't have completely. Yeah. And one very important thing that I've come to realize after doing this habit journaling from last, I don't know, a lot of time is not a lot of time, maybe 3 months, is I had a habit of ticking every box. No, out of 10, 8 boxes are checked is good, 9 boxes are checked is good, because I'm learning German, so I have to do some things repeatedly. So I put 10 check boxes. However, I don't end up with the guilt when I have not ticked them all. So 8 of them are ticked, 5 of them are ticked. That's okay, progress. And those are like 5 minutes mini activities. And I'm really grateful that this book has helped me tenfolds learning a language, because I'm doing 5 minutes learning in the changing in the switching habits, in the which is not mentioned in this book, where I switch from one action to another action. I call it the transition habit. In that transition, in that 5 minutes, I do a quick habit that is right in front of me, very accessible. So in 5 minutes, I read 100, 200 words of German. In that 5 minutes, in that 500 words, I read a very powerful self-empowerment speech for myself. That's how I keep my focus. I'm so focused. By God, I've been from last few days. I've been working 4 to 5 hours daily without any interruption. And I'm really grateful that I can do that with a Pomodoro of 25 minutes. And it's a long things of doing and not doing. So I'm really grateful because I've had like so many, so much quality I can't tell you. And I'm really grateful. And yeah, I'll conclude the session with one thing, that sometimes people don't understand what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve, and most resistance comes from inside. And when I say from inside, from the people I live with. So I'm going with the same kind of a scenario. However, everything is God's grace. Yeah, the people we fight most are the people we love the most. So I'm really grateful that I come here. I shared my gut out. I can say anything I want, and I know that sharing is caring, and this should be yours as well as a member of this group. To be too strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything, and to make your optimism come true. To think only for the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. To be bigger, to be better, to be brighter. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are for yours. To forget the mistakes of the past and to press on the greatest achievements of the future. To wear the cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile. To give so much to the self improvement that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, to be too noble for anger, and to be too strong for fear, and to be too happy to permit the presence of the trouble. Well, that concludes the reading part. And concluding, I say the next meeting of this group is on Monday, 800 hours. And Freer, I think I've already said it. Yeah. So I'll just say, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I'll say it to V. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that concludes our meeting for today. Is there anything else you would like to add? Amrish, I'm gonna stop. Thank you.
I will say thank you, thank you.